Hello, good morning. My name is Ryan. Welcome to my stream. Today we are talking about Astro Server Islands, how they work and when to use them. Astro introduced a powerful new pattern called Server Islands last year. If you are building with Astro, it's worth understanding what they are, how they work, and where they shine and where they don't. Their documentation explains Server Island really well, but I wanted to dig a little deeper on the technical side of things. What are server islands? Server islands allow you to render a portion of your page on the server on demand without blocking the rest of the page load. Think of your page as the ocean, most static or cached HTML. Now imagine dynamic content rising out of the ocean like an island appearing after the tide goes out. These server islands let you render just the part of the page you need from the server without slowing down the rest. This pattern is useful for personalized greetings, authenticated user info, avatar, session data, regional specific content, price data on country, dynamic that should block first renders. Unlike traditional server-side rendering, when whole page waits for server data, server islands let you defer just part of the page until after load. How they work: API is simple. You use server-defer direction on the Astro component. This tells Astro to replace the component with placeholder and fetch the real HTML immediately from the server after the page loads. You can also provide a fallback UI slot fallback loading some server-side island. Here's an expanded view. Hello world preload script where you have server island. So the script fetches HTML for the component from a special server point and replaces a node with which may not have fallback markup. Here's the client-side function that makes that swap happen. Async function replaces island. You have this code. A fun discovery. Someone in the chat during my live stream asked if server islands work inside client components. I mentioned that a server island has to be an Astro component, so you can't directly embed on inside a client component like React. But I suspected it would probably work if passed as a child. Believe it or not, it does. Embedded server island inside a client component works as long as you pass them as a children. And it makes sense if you think about it. Astro renders the server side as plain HTML, so the client side component renders with markup on the server as usual. The page loads, the server island hydrates script kicks in and updates the placeholder. Limitations: server islands only work on .astro component, not on React, Vue or Solid, etc. You may set up output serve in your Astro config. JavaScript must be enabled in the browser from island to render properly. Where can you use them? Showing personal login, location-based content, display user, etc. Server islands are a great way to blend static first performance with dynamic server rendering content. They are lightweight, easy to use, and smart alternative to full page SSR when you only need to personalize a section of the page. You could check out our full walkthrough over here. Thank you for tuning.